realizing that mapping was what defined me, it woke me up and made me realize that all the maps that I've been looking at for all these years were actually artwork, and I'd actually been doing artwork, but just in a different form. So for me now, I'm still a cartographer. It's just that I'm not using my drafting pens anymore, I'm using paint. My name's Peta Tranquille, and I've been a cartographer for 30 years. I mean, I probably still am. And cartography, for those who don't know, is map making. Being a child that lived in the country of WA, there was restrictions on what subjects you could take. There was not a lot to choose from. So art was my favourite subject and geography was my second favourite subject. So my mum decided that that would be a great combination and that cartography was what fitted the brief. Well, I've been an artist since I was, I think, 3. Mum said I used to draw things all over the walls in the house, and I've always done portraits and things that I could physically see, because recently, I think about 6 years ago, I discovered I have aphantasia, which is the inability to visualize, which for me at first, when I realized that that's what I had, it made a lot of sense as to why I've only ever drawn what I could see and never understood expressive art or art painted from emotion, because to me that makes no sense. In my mind, it makes no sense. Yeah, I definitely can't relate to probably 99% of artists out there. I don't relate to what they're doing or where they're getting their inspiration from, because it's obviously from their mind. But yeah, I think it would have been about 5 years ago, my brother-in-law, who I hold in very high respect as far as what he knows about the art world, he's very knowledgeable. He said to me, you have to find your thing. And I think my whole life I've been trying to find out what my thing was as far as art was concerned. And because I mean, I could copy everybody's work, I could do what everybody else was doing, but it wasn't me. It didn't define who I was as an artist or as a creative. So I sat down one day and I just wrote a list of all the things that define who I am. And it seemed really obvious after I looked at that list that maps was what defined who I am. So as much as my maps are still oriented north and they're still to scale, and if you put them all together in a real world sense, you could still get from A to B and you would have a fairly good idea of what the distance would be. So for me, aerial photographs, which is what I've dealt with for so long, became the obvious choice of where to get my inspiration from. So I sit on Google Maps for hours and I just look for shapes, and a lot of those involve roads that are overlapping each other where there's shadows, and sometimes it's just the way the river turns, but it's all geographically based. It's all to do with the land, it's all to do with the shapes and the colours, and I like to also go to the location itself and take in the colours. It might just be that on that day a red car went past me and it got my attention, so I make sure that red is part of the painting. So for me, it's all visual, in a sense, visual from my eyes, not visual from any other sense. Perfection and precision is probably 2 of my most important parts of my work. The second there's any texture, it's taken out immediately with the sandpaper. Well, I used to look at hard edge paintings and think, so easy. But until you start actually doing hard edge paintings, especially with the accuracy and precision that mine are, it is far from easy. Like I'm a perfectionist as far as my line work is concerned. I think I want people to appreciate the time that it's taken, because the hard edge work takes a lot more time. Some of these ones take me weeks because I have to wait for all the layers to dry before I can do anything else. It was when I started doing the hard edge that I realized just how hard, like it's not just the fact that it's a hard edge, it's difficult. So, and yeah, I mean, I kind of appreciate the hard edge paintings more than I do a lot of the other stuff now, because I know the effort that's gone in. I mean, I think everybody wants artwork of some sort on their walls. But like, for example, when I go to IKEA, I see all these people, they're buying frames with photos that there's multiple amounts of them. And I always think, why would you pay $100 for that when for maybe $250 or even less? I mean, there's plenty of artists out there that would charge a lot less. You could get an original piece, and a piece that no one else in the entire world has got a copy of. And it's yours. Like, you get to look at it forever. You get to, you know, enjoy that space with that piece on your wall that you chose. I think it's about getting it in front of them and making them actually appreciate what they're seeing and why it's been created or how it's been created, and not just looking at it as a pretty picture, which I think is a lot of the issue today. People are buying things to match their couches and their cushions, and they're not buying a piece that has any substance, in my opinion. And that's why I've never been able to put pieces like that on my wall, and I will never have pieces like that on my wall. I don't understand those types of works. There's, I think artwork needs to have a statement, and it needs to be explanatory of what the piece is about. I had a buyer recently who, the last thing she said to me as I left her house was, people should be buying art for what they get from it, not because it matches their curtains. So that, I mean, I wanted to hug her because that's kind of been my philosophy for a long time. Yeah, I have a website, and it's my name, petatranquille.com. And then on Instagram and Facebook, it's Peta Tranquille Artist. And my hashtag is PLouiseG. If you follow me, you can just look up PLouiseG with my hashtag and you'll find me there.